Hello friends, good morning. Welcome to my second official video where I am a little more prepared and a little more conscious. Um, but I've received a lot of great um, feedback, a lot of positive feedback for my first video, and I'm so grateful for that. For all the support that my family and friends provided. I'm going to try and implement some of them. I don't have clothes hanging in the background anymore. I try to make my background a little better. I'm going to try and smile a little bit more and look more into the camera and stop doing uhs and ahs. So let's dive into the topic for today. Today's topic is the shadow, or what is the shadow? Another word for it would be darkness, or like a blind spot that we may have. Um, it basically means things that are the repressed sides of us, the repressed parts of us that we may not know, or we may know and have ignored or suppressed, and yet they are very much a part of us, and they do show up oftentimes in the most in the most important moments, and can cause issues as a result. Um, so the way that they manifest are might be depression, like a chronic depression, but more often in things that are interpersonal, like anger. You know, having anger issues, feeling jealousy and envy of other people, having a constant self-sabotaging behavior where you are sabotaging your own efforts and not putting your best forward. And for me, this is something that I can relate with a lot. um, and they often show up in our close relationships, because our close relationships is where we can be our most vulnerable, we are our most intense, um, and those are the relationships that matter. Probably at work, we're going to be more filtered, you know, being able to carry off this mask. Um, and typically, the ways that we show it out is projection. So, you know, blaming others for something that we often face, like anger, or like you know, that you're jealous of this and that. um, and also some repeating patterns, as well as triggers, which basically means that there is something that happens, somebody um, says a particular thing or behaves in a certain way, and that makes you react adversely and almost irrationally. So where does this come from? Typically it comes from unresolved childhood trauma, things that we faced in the past, which we maybe weren't able to make sense of at that time because we were too little. And maybe it wasn't encouraged for us to explore further. Um, and as a result, there was one side of us which is more acceptable to society, which is more positive and um, generally generally more favorable in society. And there are these elements that are not looked up, that are shamed by society, starting off by our parents or our caretakers, our teachers, our peers. And so those aspects have never really had an opportunity to come out. So those are repressed childhood feelings, some traumatic events. At the end of the day, we have a lot of fragments, and a good person that talks about these different fragments is Teal Swan, and you can check out her YouTube channel. Um, and this also goes to the shadow that Carl Jung talks about. Carl Jung was the first person who started using these terms, like the shadow and like the archetype. So you're welcome to explore that further as well. Um, and we do have various sides of us, and most of the times we're only putting a certain side of us out there. And I think we all know that we have more to us. You know, we're not calm all the time, we're not happy all the time, we're not encouraging all the time. Sometimes we're just terribly grumpy, and somehow we feel that it's not okay to be that way. So now I guess coming to the important part, which is how to overcome the shadow. And really, I would say it's not something to be overcome or not something to be fixed, as much as it is something to be made friends with, because that is also a part of you, and a part of you that has not been given enough attention, has not been acknowledged. The presence of it within you has not been acknowledged. So a very important part, you know, whether you work with yourself or you're working with a therapist or a close friend, is just being honest and vulnerable to yourself, being willing to admit that there are parts of you that are not, in your words, ideal, or in society's words, ideal, but are very real. And one cannot be all happy without having a sad part to it, because ultimately that's what makes balance, and nature is always balanced. There is never white without black. So acknowledging those parts, being honest with ourselves about it, and exploring it further, being willing to explore it further. A lot of people I know are unwilling to delve into their shadow, but it doesn't go away, you know. By repressing it, it doesn't go away. So be brave, be willing to take that step, to go within, and always go with a loving heart and acceptance and compassion towards yourself, to feel whatever you feel. And it may have the key to a lot of growth. I genuinely mean this, because the shadow side is something which is has been a blind spot to us for all of our lives. And once we start to explore that and acknowledge that, we also realize very important things about what makes us work, and also what makes us react in this way. And really things start to unlock within us, and kind of unlock to a next level in our personal growth. So I can say from personal experience, it's definitely a very meaningful and rewarding journey to explore this darkness rather than running away from it. And the thing to always keep in mind is to go with acceptance and love. So thank you so much for watching. I see this clock timer ticking right in front of the camera, so it makes me so conscious. But if you've come this far, thank you so much for watching. Please do share your comments as to how I can make this better, and I do hope to continue making a lot of videos like this. Thanks a lot once more. Take care.